visitation reinstated at the hospital.
Barbados assures no pay cuts for public servants, but considers forced saving as an alternative. These and more stories went to...
We understand that you cannot come to the store and encourage you to stay at home. If you need assistance with bill payments, top-ups, or troubleshooting, we are here to help. Call us at 444-4444 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, or visit our website at www.cctbvi.com. Click Top Up here or My CCT for top-up or bill payments. Social distancing with CCT.
A warm welcome to everyone. It is Friday, May 15th, 2020. My name is Javon Wilson.
And of course, viewers, I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes.
Now, Kyla, we're kicking things off a little bit different today. You know, here at 284 Media, we love to celebrate local talent in the British Virgin Islands, and most recently, a new youth anthem has been rocking the territory, coming from Mr. Jacob Edwards. Now, across the territory, he's known as a guidance counselor, but more specifically, within a different breath, really appealing to the youths today via a new song. Viewers, we're going to give you just a little taste of it. Let's listen in.
Yes, love alone. Guetta Youth, big up yourself. All over Virgin Islands. Many youths, them a waste them life away. The system not care, them a gone astray. Get to youth still a struggle with a lot of pain. Wishing they go see the sun and no more rain. Many youths, them a waste them life away. The system not care, them a gone astray. Get to youth still a struggle with a lot of pain. Wishing they go see the sun and no more rain. Get to youth, hold your head up now. Never let your smile die out, never from. A better day is coming, so don't you fear. Keep your life together now and never let it tear. Stand strong, cause we got to stay together. Cause that's the only way we gonna get through the weather. However, things may look or seem, just stay on the narrow path and always be real. Cause judgment will come, so you can't cheat life. Press away from sin, press away from strife. Say you are precious, precious indeed. Say you are the future, yes, you are the seed, yes. Never ever stress, yes. Say you're too blessed, yes. Life is just a test, never let it weigh right down upon your chest. Many youths, them a waste them life away. The system not care, them a gone astray. Get to youth still a struggle with a lot of pain. Wishing they could see the sun and no more rain. Many youths, them a waste them life away. The system not care, them a gone astray. Get to youth still a struggle with a lot of pain. Wishing they could see the sun and no more rain.
Now, viewers, that's Mr. Edwards for you with his newest song, Guetta Youth. Now, we were able to get into an exclusive interview with Mr. Edwards. I mean, we spoke about all things guidance counseling, especially now in light of what's happening with COVID-19 and what's going on with the young people across the territory, and quite a wealth of information shared from Mr. Edwards. So happy to be able to share that interview if you guys are able to tune in tonight. Viewers, we have to head into our newscast for today. Coming out of GIS, just yesterday, Deputy Premier and Minister for Health and Social Development, Honorable Carvin Malone, confirmed case number 8 for COVID-19 in the British Virgin Islands. Now, Honorable Malone stated during his update that 22 samples were sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, in Trinidad for testing and confirmation, and 21 of those samples resulted as negative, with one confirming positive for the virus that causes COVID-19. Honorable Malone explained that case number 8 had been kept under quarantine as a close contact of a previously announced case and has exhibited only mild symptoms of the disease. He added that because the person remained in quarantine, that the risk of community spread was lessened. Now, the 6th recovery was also announced as the retested samples were among 21 negative results in accordance with CARPHA protocols. So viewers, as it relates to today, the BVI's epidemiological summary, as of May 14th is as follows. As you can see on the screen, 157 persons have been tested, with 149 of those returning negative. We have just about 8 persons reporting positive, and like Honorable Malone highlighted, 6 persons have recovered so far. To date, we only have one death, which viewers results in only one case being active as we speak. Now, the Ministry of Health and Social Development's epidemiological unit continues an aggressive contact tracing strategy in accordance with the World Health Organization technical guidance. Persons who may have recently traveled or may have come into contact with a possible case of COVID-19 and show any symptoms such as fever, cough, difficulty breathing, headache, or recent loss of taste or smell should stay at home and seek medical advice via the medical hotline at 852-7650. Again, viewers, that number is 852-7650. Now, Kyla, incredible news there for the British Virgin Islands in the fight against COVID-19. I think this may be the closest we've come so far to a full recovery with, like we said, just one person currently being active. So I think it's safe to say once that person was not exposed to anyone, and like the minister said, the victim was under mandatory quarantine.
Right.
So again, once that is indeed the case, I think pretty soon the BVI will see a 100% recovery. And I mean, we can look across the region and see the island of St. Lucia, for example, recording a 100% recovery for the second time in a row.
Amazing.
And I mean, we'll be able to speak to that in a subsequent newscast, Kyla, but I just think this is an incredible reality for the BVI, and we just want to send speedy recovery wishes now to our 8th and now only victim of COVID-19 in the BVI.
As you said, Javon, definitely incredible, but one case is always too much,
yes.
you know, but we must recognize the government of the Virgin Islands for the aggressive actions that they have took. To date, we only have had 8 cases of COVID-19 in the territory, and that's because of the actions taken by the government, but also the actions taken by the residents of the BVI,
yes.
who are
Correct.
complying with the rules and regulations that are in place. So we just want to keep on keeping on because it's a long fight.
Certainly, I certainly agree with you, Kyle.
Most definitely. So let's move on, viewers. Now, last month, in a press conference, Minister of Immigration and Labor, Honorable Vincent Wheatley, stated that there was a backlog of work permit related application. He said that the backlog was caused by the disruption in service as the territory battled with and continues to battle with the coronavirus pandemic. Now, as of Monday 18th, this is Monday coming, the Immigration Department, that is the Immigration Department, will be commencing the renewals of work permits for all companies. The department is operating on an appointment-only basis. We're seeing this in our public service, where most departments and ministries are operating on an appointment-only basis. Also, they will be adhering to the no mask, no service protocol, while customers are asked to adhere to social distancing guidelines. Now, individuals are invited to visit the government's website at bvi.gov.vg. Go on and click on the banner named Immigration Services Checklist to obtain a list of the required documents relevant to permit renewals. Government agencies and statutory bodies are asked to submit renewal applications in a sealed envelope, including the name of the department, ministry, or statutory body, together with the contact details for a human resources liaison officer. Once that application is processed, the liaison officer will be notified for collection. Persons are also asked to telephone the department at 468-4705 or 468-4706, or you have the option of sending an email at immigrationinfo@gov.vg. I'll repeat that, immigrationinfo@gov.vg, to make an appointment. Javon, here we see the government just forging forward and getting things done, all while operating within the new normal, appointment only also, and just operating and taking procedures.
I fully agree with you, Kyle, and that is very critical to the internal reopening that we're speaking about as it relates to the BVI's economy. One of the things we constantly note here is that a major part of the population happens to be the working population, that is, happens to be that belongs to the expatriate community, and we know for sure that the tourism industry has been crippled in a major way by the onset of coronavirus. So it's really important that we get things going, like you said, that we get back to a state of normalcy to ensure that the economy is back up and running as soon as possible.
Yes, and the public service, their operation hours now are from 8 to 5. So they are working diligently to just get these services to the people as fast as possible. So we must commend them.
Certainly.
Now, viewers, still ahead, Barbados considers pay cuts instead. So they're not doing any pay cuts for public servants, but instead implementing forced savings. You will hear all about this when 284 News returns.
Eco? Everyone is speaking about eco-friendly products. We wanted to take the time to introduce the Eco Island brand. Eco Island is a brand dedicated to providing you with a reliable and cost-effective solution. Eco-friendly products for your restaurant, hotel, bar, office, and home. With takeaway trays, bags, cups, paper straws, cutlery, and cleaners. For more information, follow us at Eco Island 100.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, very shocking news coming out of the BVI Tourist Board. Now, after a very successful tenure, that is 8 years as a Director of Tourism, or head of the BVI Tourist Board and Film Commission, Sharon Flax-Brutus has decided that it is time for her to hang up her shoes on November 15th, 2020. Now, Ms. Flax-Brutus took BVI Tourism to levels it had never achieved before. The territory attained the recognition of an award-winning tourism destination, breaking record arrivals in 2016, welcoming over 1 million visitors, and rebuilding its tourism product following the 2017 hurricanes. Mrs. Flax-Brutus can be accredited for several major achievements during her tenure at the Tourist Board, Kyla, including, but not limited to, inspiring a new generation of tourism professionals via the management training and tourism education programs, paving the way for talented BVI athletes to attend the prestigious IMG Academy through the partnership with the Miami Open, launching a destination training program in conjunction with the Disney Institute training that has been unprecedented in the industry, paving the way for other destinations, also entering new and emerging markets, truly giving BVI a competitive edge and enabling the BVI to forge relationships with major consortia and leading travel companies. We also saw Ms. Flax at the Tourist Board raising the BVI tourism profile locally, regionally, and globally as a strong advocate for the BVI as a tourism destination. Under her leadership as well, they would have launched 2 major advertising campaigns which successfully repositioned the BVI as a leading tourism destination, and also building strong partnership between the BVI board and the tourism stakeholders. She also negotiated the payment for the accommodation of taxes with Airbnb, which was such a critical part of strengthening our BVI tourism product, Kyla. Also, we saw her launching BVI Food Fest, which we know it's a staple in our BVI tourism product that was launched in November of 2013. This, of course, is a month of various activities and events, including the popular Anegada Lobster Festival, which we never miss, that has brought significant international attention to the territory's culinary offerings. Now, commenting on her departure, Mrs. Flax-Brutus stated, quote, It has been my pleasure working with the BVI Tourist Board and Field Commission and to represent this territory, which I am so proud to be a citizen of globally. I am gratified by my achievements over the last 8 years, but I think it is time to move on and focus on other ways which will continue to benefit the BVI tourism industry. I wish to thank the board as well as successive governments for giving me the opportunity to serve our country at such a senior level. I also wish to thank my head office team here in the BVI as well as my colleagues in the United States as well as the United Kingdom. Partnerships and relationships are golden in this industry, and I've appreciated the work that our worldwide agencies as well as the travel trade and journalists have done in supporting me and by extension our British Virgin Islands. I will work with the board over the next 6 months to ensure a smooth transition as we work together to reopen the BVI following COVID-19. That's some kind words there from the director of the BVI Tourist Board, and I know this decision, Kyla, really comes as a surprise to many persons across the territory. I think this is a woman, when we think about it, who truly revolutionized the fabric of BVI's tourism and really cemented the brand, Kyla, on the international arena. I think she's a woman who has always been underground. She stays underground. She breeds tourism. I think when you think about hospitality, that is exactly where she is. We know for sure that Mrs. Brutus comes from a family that was deeply embedded in tourism. Her and Honorable Shireen Flax Charles, of course, they really embraced it. Even as children, you know, they speak about growing up in that type of atmosphere and how much that really cemented their love for BVI, not just in Virgin Gorda, but across the BVI. And like we heard, Kyla, she's going to be able to stick it out until November 15th, just to ensure that we transition easily into the new tourism season. But to be quite honest, I don't know how to imagine the tourism industry without her stalwart leadership.
Most definitely, Javon, we definitely want to thank Mrs. Flax Brutus for her time served within the tourism industry. But we're glad that, as she said, just going on to other things that will benefit the BVI tourism brand and sector. Definitely a thank you to her for that.
Certainly. And again, viewers, she's definitely someone you need to continue to watch. I think she will continue to leave an indelible mark. And again, we just want to wish Mrs. Flax Brutus all the very best here from Team 284 Media.
Most definitely, Javon. You couldn't say it any better. Now, as we move on, in the island of Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Mottley has promised there will be no job cuts in the public sector, but hinted of the prospect of forced savings. Now, for persons who do not know, forced savings is the involuntary savings of individuals' income resulting from restrictions imposed on spending, deferred income, insurance, or any other circumstances. Now, Ms. Mottley said some of the salaries of public workers would be invested into bonds, which would be redeemed at a later date. This announcement came after a lengthy meeting with the social partnership in Barbados as the island emerges from lockdown and the economy claws its way out of both the pandemic and economic restructuring. The social partnership, which simply is the partnership between trade unions and employers, private and public, they discussed how do they best share the burden and do they need to look at some level of adjusting on the part of those who are working. This would then allow the government the ability to spend money in other areas, particularly capital projects, to be able to get even more people working. Prime Minister Mottley explained that the country has to cut expenditure, but do not want to cut any jobs, and some form of burden sharing is necessary. The Prime Minister said that she thinks if this is the view of both the labor movement and the private sector, then there will be no further job cuts from the sake of COVID-19, but there may always be job cuts for restructuring purposes. The Prime Minister said some employers in the private sector had decided that instead of sending workers home, pay cuts range from 15% to 100%. And the Prime Minister also made it clear that those employees that have forfeited their entire income were those who were in a position to do so.
Yeah, Kyla, this is an incredible story because, when you think about Mia Motley, she's certainly one of the women who, when you think about it, that's really leading the charge.
Most definitely.
In COVID-19. Just recently, she was featured in a video with at least 10 women across the world,
right,
but really highlighted and acknowledged for her role in COVID-19. As here we see her being strategic once again, and I think when you look at Mia Motley, she's certainly one example we can follow. A lot of people say women can't do the job, but this is certainly one of the women across the world we admire, because she's certainly getting it done.
Most definitely. I like the story, Javon, simply because we just see governments all over the Caribbean and the world finding innovative ways to just get it done. As she said, and the story rightfully said, the burden has to be shared in one way or another. Persons might not like the idea of having pay cuts or job cuts, but here we have no job cuts, but instead persons being able to invest in bonds for future usage. So very innovative way. Would love to see how this turns out. But Javon, I do think we need to take a quick commercial break.
Yes.
So viewers, 284 News will be right back.
Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. 284 Media proudly presents its newest talk show, The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, with yours truly, Ron Grant. A show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Don't worry, it's not all about suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a 284 Media production.
We understand that you cannot come to the store and encourage you to stay at home. If you need assistance with bill payments, top-ups, or troubleshooting, we are here to help. Call us at 444-4444 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, or visit our website at www.cctbvi.com. Click Top Up here or My CCT for top-up or bill payments. Social distancing with CCT.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now down to our last segment for today. Limited visitation to the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital has been reinstated effective immediately as the BVI Health Services Authority continues to institute measures to reduce the impact of COVID-19. Now, Chief Operations Officer Ms. Cedarine Malone-Smith said that the authorities are aware that family plays a vital role in the health and well-being of patients, and visitation for 2 hours a day has been reinstated to accommodate patients and their loved ones. Now, viewers, visitation starts at 11 a.m. and ends at 1 p.m. Patients will now be allowed a maximum of 2 visitors per day for a maximum of 45 minutes per visitor. Visitors would be asked to present a form of identification, and children under the age of 13 will not be permitted. Now, Mrs. Malone-Smith said, quote, "Visitors will gain access through the main lobby of the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital, where they will be screened. Visitors must sanitize their hands and wear a mask at all times, and only visit approved patients. Now, persons who meet the visitation criteria will be given a visitor's badge and escorted to the destination." Now, the Chief Operations Officer added that special considerations will be given for the neonatal intensive care unit, pediatrics, and patients with special circumstances. She also noted that visitors for persons in the ICU will be given a maximum of 15 minutes. That is 15 minutes visitation, of course, because of the nature of the ICU. ICU and the vulnerability of those patients. Now, these parameters and guidelines, according to Ms. Malone-Smith, are for the safety and protection of visitors, patients, and the staff. Persons visiting the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital are now urged to comply with all safety rules and requirements. Again, viewers, the BVI Health Services Authority is committed to delivering excellent, compassionate, client-centered health care across the territory. Kyla, slowly but surely, we see our officials making really small calculated steps back to, again, some level of normalcy within the BVI. I mean, we are living in a pandemic that is highly contagious, so I'm sure that is a part of the decision-making process and a really critical role in the limitations that we've been seeing so far. But like Ms. Malone said, these interactions are nevertheless very important. And I mean, I'm sure we've all been there and we understand the comfort of just having a family or a friend stop by at the hospital to wish us well. So we're very grateful that the facility is now opening up back, even if it's for a limited time.
Most definitely, Javon. As she said, it's just so important. We forget this part. That is so important, that social interaction, seeing your family, seeing your friends during a vulnerable time. Of course, we do understand, as you said, we're living in a world now and we're going through a pandemic. So calculated steps, precautions, very necessary.
Yes.
But thankfully, here in the BVI, we're able to get back to some level of normalcy. And we must not forget how important that social interaction is. But as we wrap up, just the fact, and we've been saying it, we really miss just having a hug from somebody.
Yes.
Or, you know, that's what we miss the most, and that's what the pandemic has really taken away from us. But it's a fight, but we must be strong during this time.
All right, viewers, we're almost out of time, but before we go, we're going to invite you to join the farmers market that is tomorrow, of course, of course, in light of what's happening with COVID-19. We've seen a surge, Kyla, not only in local farming, but also persons really supporting purchasing locally as opposed to, you know, shopping overseas. I mean, that has been limited as well. But our farmers are well supported in this time. I mean, I can attest to that, and we'll be speaking to them over the weekend to bring you some exclusive coverage on that next Monday. But we're so thrilled to be able to shop locally. Like we've been preaching for a while now, self-sufficiency in this time is super important. And in order to keep the money flowing within the territory, in order to keep the economy going, we have to shop local. So viewers, you are invited to head out tomorrow to the farmers market. There will be quite a number of farmers out there selling their fresh produce, and of course, overall, encouraged to shop local. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. We want to encourage you to join us on 284media.com, where we share a wealth of information there. You can also like us, if you have not as yet, on Facebook at 284media. You can also like us on Instagram and Twitter at 284BVI. My name is Javon Wilson.
And viewers, I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes. We'll see you again next week, Monday, as we will be here to deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news, right here on 284 Media. Have a happy weekend, everybody.
Father Jesus, that line you long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man, forget you.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top up power?